Welcome to ZKast, everyone. I'm ZS Caraval from ZK Research, and I'm here at the NRF show. I'm down in the expo hall with Tom Yang, VP of Retail for NICE. Tom, how you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Yeah. And before we start, just a quick bio on yourself, and what does NICE do?
Sure. So I lead the retail vertical here at NICE, and NICE, we're a CX company, customer experience. Everything around customer acquisition, e-com, to service, to sales, analytics, you name it.
Yeah. Best known as a contact center vendor, but
Yes.
much more than that.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. And so before I know you've got an interesting demo here I want to take a look at, but let's just talk about the retail industry in general. I mean, we've had a lot of technology introduced to clearly AI and a lot of different digital channels, social. What's going on in retail today? What are your customers telling you they're struggling with?
I mean, I think for us, the perennial thing that we always hear is conversions, acquisition, right? For a retailer, that's the number one thing they focus on. And I think for us, even with our focus on contact center, it's how do we start to reach upper end of the funnel? How do we start to get customers acquired and things like that? You know, for you, ZK Research, you have tactics and strategy, near term and long term. And I think for our customers, it's starting to realize that, hey, with technology, we can both improve their immediate experience, but also we've got to start using that data. We've got to start learning from that data to improve the long term as well, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a lot going on in retail, and for us, it's just how do we help our customers provide more personalized service and sell more at the end of the day.
And so this is consistent with a lot of things. I've done a number of CIO roundtables here. I met with some marketers last night, and the one interesting aspect that comes up over and over is this concept of choice, right? So brick and mortar is not going away.
Yes.
Right? But there's also a lot of digital tools out there. There's age demographics, and so in some cases you're going to have people wanting to go into a brick and mortar, but then have it shipped to their home, or you're going to go into or you're going to buy it online, pick it up in store. You're going to want to maybe talk to an AI agent, or maybe buy it through some sort of a digital channel. But it just seems we have this complicated mesh of different ways of buying, different channels to use, and you have to be able to offer all of them in different ways to the different demographics, right? Yeah.
I think for me and a lot of the retailers we work with, it's almost to your point, it's overwhelming, first of all. How many do I support? What channels do they want? And it's an ever-changing demand, too, from their clientele, right? And what I advocate for is you will never want potentially to support 30 different channels. That just doesn't really help you. How do you start to find which channels your particular consumer base comes in on and to serve the ones that are there? And I think the consistency of experience is key. You don't want somebody to be able to call in and have a much better experience, let's say, than when they chat in on a digital channel and have a different experience. So however many channels you have, make it consistent. Make it, the equitable experience across channels. But to your point, I think retailers have no choice, and they should embrace the fact that their consumers do want to come in on different channels today and to offer those.
Yeah, and one of the big themes here is AI, and it's been a big theme. In fact, I look around and see AI, right?
Yeah.
What do you think the impact of AI is going to be on retail?
I've been working with AI for many, many years, and I would say for me, AI is an accelerator, always.
Because it lets us know more about our customers faster?
That, and also it takes less time, less skill, and less personnel for the retailer to learn more, to do more. Yeah. It's an accelerator for labor. It's an accelerator for experiences. Right now, the caution there is sometimes if you have bad processes or bad design, it can accelerate and magnify a bad experience, right? So we've seen some of those news articles lately, but on the whole, it helps retailers to magnify the impact that they can have. And I always tell our customers, look, AI and the technology of its like, it's a way for laggards in the space to quickly catch up to leaders, but it's also a way for leaders to maintain their moat. And that's what retail brands need to embrace is, hey, you take a great experience that you're already delivering today. Now AI can help you deliver it at scale with less cost, with less time, right? I mean, think about knowledge. Yes. In the old days, knowledge, we had to sit there and write tens of thousands of articles that we wanted to use. Now, as long as we have a good compendium of information, Gen AI, for example, can vastly scale the labor for us instead of manually writing thousands of articles to automatically create those. Yeah. That's one tactical example, right?
Yeah, and what's really interesting too is just how quickly AI can take the information and connect the dots between them. In fact, at your event in June, I was talking with one of your customers, Hunter Douglas. Actually, they were on stage, and they were talking about how they loaded all the information into NICE, and they're the blind company, right? And you could just call on and ask the AI agent a question as simple as, "My blinds aren't working," and then it would go figure out where you purchased it, what blinds you have, what the common problems are, and ask you, are you have a problem retracting the blinds in the bedroom? Right. Just like a person might. And I think one of the interesting aspects of AI too is, while if you think about the internet, how it democratized access to information, AI democratizes access to expertise.
Absolutely, and also helps the retailers and the brands not have to spend hundreds or thousands of hours creating that flow, right? I mean, that example that you mentioned 5 years ago, even a few years ago, in a traditional bot environment, you'd have to create all of those flows manually in bots. Now it's more that access to that body of information.
And if one thing changes.
If one thing changes, you're updating all the flows and all. And then even, remember those days where we had to script the bots to say, here's the exact question that the customer asked.
That's why people didn't like those.
No, because 90% of the time it would say, I don't know. I don't know how to answer your question. Right?
And so what are you demoing here?
So for us, we talked a little bit about NICE. Our focus, a lot of it is on the customer experience, especially in post-sale, things like that. Some of what we really want to help retailers with is, look, and everybody watching, retailers know this problem firsthand. Of every 100 people that hits their e-com website, maybe 2 to 3 buy something. The conversion rates are very, very low perennially on e-com. And for us, it's how do we start to use the signals up front to help them with those conversions. So let's take a quick look at the video
What's
journey
interesting about that is, again, historically, contact center thought of is post-sale support. You're actually using it for pre-sales now.
We are. And also, whether we use live people from the contact center or not, but it's the fact that CX reaches throughout the entire journey. So much of CX, unfortunately, has been thought of as a contact center problem. Not so. CX spans across, right? The moment of awareness, that's when CX starts, even from social media. And so for us, the ability to tie that experience in across all teams, across a brand, across all parts of the journey. So let's take a look. Let's play this and take a look. So what we're looking at is, let's take a couple of retailers. We have Excellent and Almost, right? So they sell the same products for the same price point. Same thing that many of our retailers do. Now, Excellent delivers excellent service. Forgive the puns in this one.
Almost as every airline I fly.
Almost, that's true. So where do customers start? Oftentimes when they look for a product, they start with a problem. In this case, I need help with the sizing of climbing shoes, common issue. What we want is for the retailer to actually appear right there. So we help even on the SEO side of getting them pushed up to that result. You get eyeballs to your e-com website. But more than that is, as the customers and prospects start to browse, how do we start to use the signals that they have on the website? So here, mouse hovers or time on page or mouse clicks, we use those behaviors in a compliant way to start understanding where do they have friction, where are they stuck? Because that's where a lot of abandon happens. And we can now start to serve them with virtual agents, knowledge, or even live agents. But the key is for us to start intercepting some of these friction points and then to allow the brand to engage. So in this case, great, customer has purchased. Well, after the fact, customer probably calls into the contact center as well. For us to arm the agents and the brand with all of that historical information and have AI and Copilot start saying, here's the history, hey, by the way, here's what you can offer, right? And I think throughout the entirety of the process, to use AI and infuse that to say, how do we make sense of what's going on at this particular stage in the journey? How do we engage? And ultimately, that's the difference between an Excellent and Almost brand, is those small little pieces in the journey that we can affect and we can nuance and we can improve, right? And that's the criticality for us. And at the end of the day, that's what makes an excellent brand.
You know, I'm so glad you brought this up, because I was at a digital marketer event last night. And we were talking about this very thing, how a lot of the tools you were showing there is a set of tools, web analytics, things like that, right? Now, we were discussing how in the AI era, you need to analyze all your data. Good data leads to good insights, right? We know that. But silos of data lead to fragmented insights. And so I could have a case where my web analytic tools are telling me one thing, and my contact centers tell me another. So I might have a great, excellent customer experience in the front end, but then if my service isn't so good, it may not, I may not on the back end. And so I think by you doing this, who historically has had a lot of strength in service support,
Right.
now you have a much better view of that
You can
entire
bring it all
customer
together,
journey.
right? Well, and also the measure at every stage of the journey, right? So much
Yeah.
measurement, which people equate to surveys and CSAT, historically has been done post-sale or when you contact the contact center. Why not do it up front? During the shopping journey, measure there. And to your point, you can now start to build that view, even if they never purchase from you. Now you can start to understand why didn't they purchase from us? And I think for us, it's that solicited information, solicited data of how do we understand at every step of the journey what people's thoughts are, right?
All right, well, thanks for the demo.
Absolutely.
And so let's wrap this up with some recommendations. So we're here at NRF. This show's filled with retailers looking to understand how to move forward in this AI-driven digital world. What are a couple of recommendations you want to give them?
You know, I think the interesting thing that a lot of retailers approach us with first is, I need help modernizing my contact center. I need help with a virtual agent, which are great asks. I always advocate to them, diagnosis or prescription before diagnosis is malpractice.
Okay.
That's a medical thing, right?
Yes.
But the reality is, if I don't understand what you're suffering from and I prescribe something to you, that's not good. So I tell our customers,
Retailers
analyze,
do it all the time, though,
understand.
right?
But analyze, understand.
Yeah.
So I say, let's take a pause. Let's actually do some analytics on your volumes and understand truly where are the friction points. Then we can map out together what you might need to improve. Because if they're throwing technology upon bad processes, it's a recipe for disaster. Let's take a pause. Let's understand what's going on, and then let's improve from there, all right? And then I think the second piece that I would say is, to your point, there's a lot of technology. It's hard sometimes to cut through the noise of what is effective or not. A lot of times vendors say the same things. A lot of times vendors provide the same glitzy demos. I always advocate to brands, when you're working with vendors, have them demonstrate to you in a very direct, tactical, hands-on manner, here's exactly how it works. Here's exactly what it takes to maintain. Here's exactly how you, as a brand, will run the technology you're looking at, not us as a vendor demoing to you, right?
Yeah.
So make sure that you have a very clean picture of what it takes to take on this technology. Because I oftentimes find that brands will buy certain things and then realize that, hey, this is probably not the best fit for us, or we can't support this. So, but look, there's a lot of great technologies in this day and age, and I think that's ripe opportunity for every retailer to, again, laggards catching up to leaders and leaders maintaining their moat. And we hope to work with many more retailers as well.
Yeah, so I didn't know this, but I've been a victim of retail malpractice for years.
Sure. It's easy to fall into, but hey, you know, it's good.
Yeah. All right, anything else you want to add?
No, I think hopefully everybody watching, whether you were here at NRF or not, that you had a great time, and we're always happy to connect. So don't be shy about reaching out.
It's a great event.
Yeah.
In fact, that's the only event I've ever been to that uses every inch of the Javits Center. So
yes, it's crazy.
No, so I appreciate your time. That was a
Yeah.
fantastic demo, and understand, contact center, not just for sales and service anymore.
That's right.
Yeah,
We'll appreciate it. Thank you for the time.
So on behalf of Tom Yang from NICE, I'm ZS Caravallo from ZK Research, and thanks for watching. Give us a like and hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next time on the next episode of ZKast. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.